Welcome inside the Red Zone. I'm Jack Hunter with WCAT, joined alongside Coach Red Dobbins, and today we're going to talk about the pistol set. Pistol is a very popular set that Westminster runs a lot of plays out of, so today we're going to dissect all the formations inside of it. Coach, let's begin.
So last week we kind of talked about defense personnel. Today we're going to go kind of shift gears over to more offensive personnel. You know, we tend to run more stuff out of pistol. We don't really get under the center too much, so everything is kind of pretty much basically out of the pistol or shotgun set. So basically when you're identifying an offensive formation, you got to identify the key members. So the quarterback's always going to be the Q, the tailback's always going to be the A, the fullback right here is always going to be the H, then you're always going to have your X, Y, and Z, which are your two receivers and the tight end. One way you can always remember that is the X is always going to go away from the tight end, and then your Y is the tight end, and then your Z is to the tight end side. So
your Y is going to line up on the same side as the tight end, while your X is going to be on the other side?
Yep. So you got what you got here is kind of one of our base formations. All right, so this is going to be our right formation right here. So as you can see, we have it's at our pistol set. You've got our A, our H, our Y, Z, and our X. So and as you notice, you can only have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. So you always notice the tight end's on the ball because that makes him eligible. So the Z will be off the ball.
So the difference between under center and shotgun is that under center you're taking the snap from the center, and then the center is actually snapping you the ball from about 5 yards out when you're
absolutely, yeah. So your pistol set, the quarterback's going to be set. Now if it was gun, the tailback would be even with him, and we'll see that. Mm-hmm. So kind of going over to our next formation, you're going to have this is right over. And so what that's doing is that's just going to put the X and Z on the same side away from the tight end, because you see we still have our pistol set right here with our tailback and fullback, and then you got your tight end right here, and you're going to have your X and Z on the same side.
So the over means that you stick a receiver from over there in the slot.
Correct. So and then going over to the next formation, you're going to have right wing over, and what that's doing is that's telling the fullback he's going to be the adjuster, the H-back, he's going to be the adjuster. He's going to go into a wing set, which is going to put him right behind the tight end. So instead of being a slot, which there's no tight end, your wing is always going to have someone outside the tight end. And as you see, we still got the two receiver set with the X and the Z, but you're putting that fullback in the wing just on the hip of the tight end.
So why would that receiver be so far behind that receiver right there?
Well, you just want to make him eligible because, again, if he's on the line, he's covering up the tight end. Now your tight end's not eligible for a pass. So you got to have 7 men on the line of scrimmage, and 2 of those guys are going to be eligible. You can't have someone covered up and be eligible for a pass.
So you've got your offensive lineman and your tight end, and that's why this guy's off the line of scrimmage right
Correct. He can't cover up the tight end. All right. Next one is going to be right slot. And all that's doing is now that's telling the H he's going to adjust out to a slot receiver. So now he's off the ball opposite the tight end. You still have your tight end and your Z over here, but you got your H going to the X side becoming a slot receiver.
So if you're an H, you've got to be versatile. You've got to be able to catch passes and block, or do you kind of substitute them in and out depending on strengths?
We substitute in a receiver sometimes for formations, but most of the time it's got to be one of your more versatile players on the field. So after that, we go to right slot wide. And all that's doing is that's telling the H and the X are going to go on the same side as the Z. So now you got your 3 receivers set over here with your tight end right there.
So that's like a pass formation. You would mostly pass out of this one?
Yeah, if you were to break our offensive down, that would be a heavy pass set right there. So going from there, you got your leftover slot wide. Now this is kind of your 2x2 spread. You see we shift to the gun now. We're not in pistol anymore. We got the back even. This is also a heavy pass set, but this is basically essentially your 2x2 set where you have 2 wide receivers on each side. You don't have a tight end in the game, which, as we talked about last week, that would be your 10 personnel right there.
So that says the defense we might want to put out a dime package or a quarter package.
Yeah, so and then, like I said, we call that our right slot wide open. So whenever you guys are watching the game and you see a 2x2 set, you'll know that's our right slot wide open formation. So going from there, we got our left slot wide open. This is our 3x1 set, so whenever you see 3 receivers to one side and 1 receiver to the opposite side, you'll know that's our left or right slot wide open. Because now what you're doing is you got your wide open set, which is your spread set, and now you got slot over. That's the left over slot. So now you got these 2 right here. Instead of 1 slot, you got 2 slot receivers.
That's a tough play to stop.
it can be hard. It's definitely it becomes a chess match between the offense coordinator and the defense coordinator.
Well, we've just punched it in for 6 here inside the Red Zone. I'm Jack Hunter. This is Coach Red Dobbins, and we will catch you next week.